So this one's going to be an interesting one. A lot of questions on how can I use my UV subsurface engraver to burn awkward shaped crystals, namely crystals that are not square or rectangular. And how can I use my machine to burn larger crystals? So crystals that are larger than even what my laser manufacturer is recommending. So if this sounds interesting to you, stick around. Cockpit 3D, brought to you by 3dcrystal.com, is next. And welcome to Cockpit 3D, brought to you by 3dcrystal.com. So you will have noticed that on a lot of the marketing videos that are circulating from your laser manufacturer, they are showing the crystal loaded this way in a laser. Okay, so as opposed to it being on its back, they are loading crystals that are vertical. And many times the crystals that they're loading are elongated. So crystals that are actually pillar shaped or a lot taller. And the question is why? Why are they doing this? In the green beam world, we're always loading crystals on their back. Yet in the UV world, they're loading the crystals this way. At first, we assumed it was because it made a nice shot for showing the image kind of being engraved and being produced from the bottom to the top. Great for recording and great for marketing purposes. But very quickly, we realized that, in fact, isn't the reason. The reason is because the restriction on the field of view, meaning the diameter of length that the laser can reach on the X and the Y, is much less in a UV machine than on the Z. So while a UV machine, at least at this moment in time, the majority of them can engrave longer and taller crystals on the Z, longer measurement on the Z, it has a far less measurement that it can reach on the X and the Y. So to showcase how you can use your machine to, its greatest capacity, the manufacturers are loading crystals that are this way, that are taller, okay, and essentially hoping that you'll be able to fill it up. Now the problem is that most photos that you receive from your customers or photos that you take on your phone are of a ratio that is not conducive to a tall pillar like this. And that's why we're seeing that if you're using the crystals that came with your machines, you have your 3D image floating in the center with a lot of space on the top and the bottom. And this is not ideal. It just doesn't look pleasing to the eye, and it's just not the correct, usage of the photo against the crystal, okay, proportionally speaking. So the way that we will generally burn a crystal is we will burn, rectangles or squares or other shapes on their back. And that's the same way that you would need to burn a crystal that doesn't have a flat top. So if we look at a very, very popular style right now, which is the crystal heart, okay, intuitively, you would think that from all the marketing that you're seeing, that you should load your crystal like this in your machine and burn it from here. But no problem, because, if this here is 10 centimeters tall or 9 centimeters tall, whatever it is, even though it's taller than the 7 centimeter, it doesn't matter, because on the Z, you have that space. You're able to do it with your machine. But the issue is that it won't work because you have your curve up here. So the laser beam will refract, it'll bounce off. And so what you really do need to do is similar to in our green beam world, you would need to lay it down on its back into your machine. And when you do that, now you've got a nice flat top and your laser is able to penetrate the surface very well and burn a nice striking 3D image inside the crystal. Of course, this does beg the question that, well, if the restriction on the X and Y is 7 centimeters, how am I able to, trick the machine to accepting a larger crystal shape without kind of prompting any sort of an error? So that's what I'm going to show you right now. So let's turn to Cockpit 3D here, and I am in a full port mode. So I will try, as I do these tutorials, I will try to talk to a few of the different icons as well, and in each video hopefully you'll pick up a tip or some sort of a habit that will help you in your process and in the way that you're using the software. So for now, to get a full screen view, you click on this button here. So normally it loads in a 4-port view so you can see different angles. I personally have gotten into the habit of kind of working in the largest screen, okay? And if I want to flip this right now, it's kind of looking at it from the top, and I could have done that on anyone. I could have done here, okay? But essentially what you want is, if I want to see it from the front, I need to just click here and click on front. Now I could rotate it by holding this down and rotating, but if I want it perfectly from the front, just do that and it snaps right to position. Okay. And then the other question that we've received is, it's coming out in this square shape by default. Why? And am I doing something wrong, or what's the best way to do it? So you'll notice that when you're placing your order on the Cockpit 3D FastPass web portal, that's when you're seeking to get your photo converted from 2D to 3D. We do provide you the opportunity to select the shape and the size over there. And if you do that, meaning that if you select, for example, in this case, the exercise is going to be on a medium heart. So if you do select medium heart on the web portal, and position everything the way you want it to be, then when you receive your Cockpit 3D scene file and you open it up, it will be one for one, exactly as you did on the website. And that means all you would really have to do is click on Go and then save the point cloud by clicking on the laser strike, all right? However, most people will just click on no shape, and by clicking on no shape, what happens is that the file comes back and it looks like this, okay? And you'd have to click on the shape and the style over here. Now, the question is why? Why would we open it up for you to select your shape and style on the web portal if you can do everything over here? And it's for the future, because one of the subscription models that we're working on for the future, again, we want to help you scale your business, is what if we could enable you to subscribe to using that portal as a micro e-commerce site, where a customer, an end user, can go to, a website address that, has that same portal that you're using right now, but has a place where they can enter their credit card and the order gets done completely by the customer on their mobile device. So if they're doing it, we don't want them to kind of just upload a photo and leave it to you to decide how it should be placed. That could result in customer service issues. So we're thinking ahead, and we're kind of establishing it in a way so that when we do come out with it, your customer is going to be able to do 90% of the work. When you get the order, all you have to do is click on Go, burn it. You've already been paid by the customer directly through that web portal, and you're able to drop ship it. Okay, so hopefully that sounds interesting. A little sneak peek as to what we're working on of many different concepts that we have coming to Cockpit 3D and our world in the near future. But for now, this here was clicked with no shape, or submitted with no shape. So I'm going to select the shape that we want to work on today, which is the 3D heart medium. Click on OK, and there we go. So, okay, well, why are we seeing this? Does anybody know? Why are we seeing these black spots or blotches here? So the reason we're seeing that is because I have my light maps on, and it is telling me that if I save this, I am going to lose points. I'm not going to get a full burn in the crystal, because if I look at it from the side, it's outside of the crystal, right? So I want to squeeze it in, and now we are inside the crystal. I'll turn my light maps off, and that's what it looks like with light maps off, okay? Now we have an issue here. What's the issue? The issue is that this crystal is, what is the exact size? If we actually go to the template here, we'll see. The size is 10 centimeters wide by almost 9 centimeters tall, or 90 millimeters, and almost 50 millimeters deep. So we know that the restriction for most lasers right now is 70X and 70Y, not 190, okay? So what do we do in this case? So what we're going to do is we're going to set margins, and margins are going to guide us as to how we should place this 3D image, so that when we load this larger crystal on our table, we don't get that error, okay? Because we're going to make sure our point cloud fits within the 70/70. So you do realize that the restriction on your laser isn't the size of the material. that you're putting on the table. It's the size of the point cloud, okay? And so that's why what we want to do is we want to make sure the point cloud fits within your 70 to 70. So if my width is 100 and I need to be at 70, it means that how much space do I need to leave on each side for it to balance? So if I need to go from 100 to 70, that's 30. Right? 100 minus 70 is 30 millimeters, which means 15 on each side. So I'm going to make my margin on X 15. And on the Y, I've got 90 here, and I'm allowed 70. So 90 minus 70 is 20, and 20 divided by 2. So I have an equal amount of space on the top and the bottom is 10. And there you go. So this means that my point cloud needs to fit within this square. So let's do that. If I just click on this button here, as long as I've got the layer highlighted, it fits it inside. Now, what I'm going to do is these are the settings for the Jet Mini, 0.07, 0.14, and 852. 852, save. Okay, click on go. And let's see how that looks. So if I were to just kind of very quickly do this right now, this is how it would look. So it would fit inside the crystal and it would look great. However, I do have a lot of extra space that I've got this space here. I've got this space here on the Y. Yes, I've maxed out on the X, but I have space on my Y. So do I want to use it? So let's see. If I increase this and move this over here, and maybe I can bring this down a bit and increase it even more. Remember, people are paying for a 3D facial impression in most cases. And so therefore, maybe they don't care so much about a lot of the blankets showing, and they would appreciate if more of their pets showed. And so therefore, we can do that. However, they probably don't want the ears to get cut off. So let's just be a little careful there and leave a couple millimeters of space, okay? So this is what perhaps you might want to do. So let's go back to our point cloud view. So by clicking here, I can flip between scene view and point cloud view. So now I'm going to click on go, right? Because this is my old point cloud that I did. And let's see how it changes the size. Right? They're getting more for their money now, right? So you're giving them greater value. And this is what makes you different than a lot of others that perhaps are not taking the advantage of utilizing strong and powerful software like Cockpit 3D with their laser machines. So yes, as I've mentioned many times, there are plenty of tools or other services available where you can get your photo made to 3D. But if you're looking at the overall package in terms of creating really, really great quality and maximizing the usage of your machine, this is where you're going to differentiate, because now you're not only using a powerful software, but you're investing in the time. You're watching this, aren't you? So you're investing the time to learn, okay? And so you'll be able to offer your customers products that you're going to be proud about. All right, now I'm going to share with you another tip. So let's look over here. And what I'm going to recommend, and what's going to look beautiful here, let's actually go back here. I don't really like this straight cut along the blanket. And I really don't think the blanket is even necessary in the background here. Yeah, it's kind of cool here. Shows the paws on it, etc. It's a nice, like, cozy shot. But is it really needed behind the cat? Probably not. And it's not looking aesthetic with this straight cut there. So what I would do is, again, the power of the premium version of Cockpit 3D is you can launch a graphics editor. So let's do that. And I've got my good old vintage copy of Photoshop here. And I'm going to do this the old school way. I'm going to click on my lasso, magnetic lasso. I'm going to make sure my background is black. And I'm probably not going to do the cleanest job right now, but I'm just doing this to make a point, and you're all smart, so I'm sure you get this, okay? Let's run along here. and cut that out. And what I'll do is I will also just clean this out here. All right. And just remember, Control S, save the texture in its temporary destination where it goes. Come back here, click on refresh, and watch the blanket when I do. And it's gone, okay? And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go again back to the point cloud view, which is the old one because I haven't regenerated my point cloud yet. So let's click here. And let's watch what it looks like after I click on go. What do you think? I mean, personally, I think that this here is the way that I would do it. And, but of course, there's perhaps many different ways that you would consider doing it. However, right now, this here really does show how you're able to remove that edge and all of a sudden make it look that much more aesthetic in a crystal shape that just earlier today, before watching this video, you never realized you were actually able to burn with your machine. All right, one last thing, very, very important before you save, okay? So this, I think, will solve a lot of issues that people are having where they fit it into their heart, but their machine is still suggesting that it doesn't fit. And what you wanna do is if you come here, you'll see that we've got stabilizing points. So what this does is that it creates a floating point somewhere within the template, and it just ensures that the image is going to burn exactly in the crystal at the position that I see it on my screen. So again, one for one, exactly as I'm seeing it on my screen, it's going to burn it in that exact same position. Now, this is a situation where you won't be able to use that feature because of that floating point. If that floating point happens to be out here or out here, it will make your machine think that the model is outside of the field of view just because of that one little floating point. So this might mean that your image won't be in the exact same central position that you see it on your screen, but it will be close enough because you're using a shape that's symmetrical. Okay, so for that reason, you should still be okay in this particular case. And so what I would do is I would just turn off the stabilizing points and then click on go, and then click on the laser strike once it has generated the point cloud and save the file and burn it. Okay, let us know how this works for you. I hope you found that informational and fruitful, and please do subscribe, like, and share. Thank you so much for watching.